What is going on, guys? Badass review here. Today we're taking a look at the new SH Figuarts Majin Vegeta. Now this is a highly anticipated figure for me because Majin Vegeta is a flippin' badass. You know what I'm saying? Definitely one of the coolest parts of the Buu saga when Vegeta goes a little crazy from all that Majin juice, whatever that shit was they gave him, and he turned evil. But he had the power of a Super Saiyan 2, so that made him even cooler. Now, unfortunately, with this, they did not give him the Super Saiyan 2 head sculpt. I mean, the face is obviously Vegeta, but the hair sculpt is still just the plain old Super Saiyan 1, which I really wish they would get around to making a Super Saiyan 2 hair sculpt for Goku and Vegeta. Because honestly, like, this is getting kind of old. Getting the same kind of hair sculpt for all the different Vegetas and Gokus that are coming out. And while it still looks great, I really wish they would just come out with a new hair sculpt. Taking a look at the figure, there's really not a whole lot to talk about. He's not wearing his armor in this outfit, obviously, so pretty much you strip that away. He's just wearing his all blue outfit. He's got the sleeveless arms, which is really nice. He's got some really nice veins popping out of his arms there, which I kind of wish they would have added a little bit of detail. Some shading would have been real nice to kind of make the veins just really pop. But unfortunately, they didn't. And honestly, you could probably, if you wanted to, just go in yourself. Just do a little bit of, I wouldn't say necessarily a dry brush, but maybe like a light dry brush, or just get some, man, what do you call it? Get some shading. Just kind of put some shading in there yourself. I can't think of the word. It's like liquid. I'll put the word on the screen right here. Anyways, so very nice looking. I think the sculpt is very nice. The shirt looks very wrinkled against his abs. So you can see his abs, but the shirt itself is kind of wrinkled, so it kind of looks a little weird. But I see what they were doing, because like where his abs are here, there's wrinkles around it, so it kind of looks like he just has like a weird bubble on his ab area. But I see what's happening. It's because his shirt is wrinkly from just being kind of a loose fit. But coming down to his legs, they're just you can just see the outlines of his calves and all that. So obviously his pants are very form-fitting, but his shirt is a little loosey-goosey. Overall, I think the color is very nice. I do see some inconsistency between the legs here, because they do actually have a little bit of shading in between the thighs there, which is kind of a strange place to put them. But the blue here doesn't quite match up with the blue up here. The blue in the crotch piece definitely seems a little bit different from the blue that's going on here in the lower legs, and then it's a little bit different from the blue going on the abdomen up, or I guess I should say the abs. Is that the abdomen? I don't know. The abdomen to his chest, different type of blue. I have been seeing reviews when this guy came out that like people were saying that the blue here doesn't match up. I mean, I don't notice it all too much. I can kind of tell that like his chesticles are a little bit more of a glossy blue than down here, where this seems a little more matted. But you really can't notice too much of a difference. I mean, it kind of just looks like it's shaded a little bit. The skin tone right here is a little bit off because they actually had to paint that. But the skin tone, it's not too bad, and it doesn't really bleed through a whole lot, so the line works pretty nice, and there's no real problems there. The head sculpt, very nice. If we can zoom in here, please. Very nice. I want to say that it's almost the exact same ones that we got with the Cell Saga Vegeta, but obviously now it's got the M on his head, which I think is really cool. It's just painted on there, so there's nothing real particularly fancy about it, because obviously it wouldn't be sculpted, because I don't think he was bulging out of his head or nothing. But it's very nice. It's very crisp looking. Definitely cool. From afar, it looks kind of strange. It kind of just looks like there's these There's just two lines going up and then these little circles around it, but obviously that's just how the design looks. But I feel like maybe the outer part should have been out a little more to kind of distinguish that that's an M. I can't quite remember if that's how it totally looks in the show or not, but obviously you can still tell it's an M. But for me, it just seems kind of weird, or maybe I'm just now noticing that the M is just a weird design. But anyway, overall, the rest of the figure is pretty standard. He's got his gloves, which are pretty nice. The hands are not quite the same shade of white as this part here of the glove, and the actual hand part is just kind of more of a glossy looking white. Same with the boots. I think the boots are okay for the most part. They look sort of different in shading, but it's not too big of a deal, at least in my opinion, so no harm there. And overall, that's really about it for the details of the figure. Like I say, he's got the same type of hair. It's pretty much shaded the same as all the other ones, so nothing too different there. Taking a look at articulation, it's pretty much your standard, SH Figuarts Vegeta figure. Really, I don't think there's any difference between this one and the next, and the Cell Saga one, which I'll compare to in a minute. But his head does look up and down. He's got a full rotation, so he can pretty much look up in pretty much any direction you want him to. His arms, they can go 360 degrees in and out. I do notice that it is kind of hard to get them extended completely out. You kind of have to tuck it into this butterfly joint here to make it go completely up, but that's not too big of a deal. But he does get full range of motion. And as I said, he comes with a butterfly joint, which I don't think... Does the other one have that? I think, yeah, the Cell Saga one has it as well, but I guess it's more noticeable on this guy because there's not armor going around his shoulders to kind of cover it up, but not too big of a deal. But it does get you some nice range of motion there if you want. Rotation at the elbow, the bicep, double jointed elbow, hinge at the wrist. I do kind of notice that the socket goes in a little further than I would like. It kind of impedes the hand articulation a little bit, since it kind of goes, the glove kind of goes over where the actual joint is. So I feel like it does kind of hinder the articulation just a little bit. But I haven't really, if you look at this hand, he can get it up, but I don't feel like it's a full, upward, hand blast that you would normally get. But not too big of a deal. You can still get the rotation. You just kind of have to work with it a little bit. He's got an ab crunch here, which gets nice range of motion. He can go far back pretty well. Going forward, not too much. Even with this lower abdomen kind of thing, it doesn't really get him far forward. But I think for the most part, it's good enough. I don't really need him crouched in a ball or nothing. But he does go back far, so that's good for flying poses. The legs, the new hip joints. Mine seems a little loose right here. Not loose the legs wise, but something about these joints right here seem kind of loose. And I don't know if that's something I should be concerned about. But I've never noticed them be that floppy. So I may need to look into that. But anyways, the legs go out and in, forward and back, rotate at the upper part of the thigh, double jointed knees. No rotation in the boot, but he does have an ankle rocker, and he does have foot articulation. So here we have the two Vegetas side by side. I'm not going to compare the old first generation Vegeta just because that one's kind of garbage compared to these now. But as you can see, they're pretty much the exact same figure. The only difference, I think, is the torsos, because obviously he's not wearing his armor. So now he is he's a little bit skinnier in size looking because he doesn't have his armor on to kind of give him a little bit more bulk. I want to say the arms are pretty much the same, at least sculpt wise, but I don't know if it's just the blue or not, but his arms seem kind of bigger, and maybe even in the shoulders. And I'm not sure if it's just the way the color looks or not. And I don't know. I think it has to do with his whole outfit. I think the armor making his torso area a little bit bulkier, makes his arms and legs look a little bulkier, whereas this one is a little bit skinnier, so it kind of makes his arms look a little bit disproportioned. But you know, you could also say that just because during the Cell Saga, Vegeta was able to go Super Vegeta and was a little bit bulkier during that time, but you know, whatever floats your boat. Also, if you wanted to swap the heads, you can. I'm not going to do it on camera, but I did test it out yesterday when I got it. You can swap the heads. This one fits a little bit better than this one, and I think you can kind of get a little more range of motion in the neck if you wanted to, which is kind of weird. But they do swap out, so if you wanted to have just a plain Buu Saga Vegeta before he became Majin Buu, or afterwards, you can do that, which would be really cool. The only thing is that the skin tone on this guy, on the Cell Saga, is quite tanner than the Buu Saga. So the skin tones aren't going to quite match up, but if you can live with that, then that's great. So for the accessories, he comes with 5 total face sculpts. So he comes with 3 pairs of hands, and then he comes with 1 cool blaster hand here. Like he's going to give you 1 of the pink, 1 of the stink, because that's how he likes it. But I feel like the accessories are kind of lacking. I kind of wish they would have given him like an energy effect, or maybe a couple more hands. They didn't really give him any like open palmed blaster hands, and they didn't give him like any kind of like gripping hands, which I feel like is common for most of the other ones. I mean, they gave him some kind of like fighting pose hands, but that's about it. And then they gave him these kind of like goofy looking flipper hands, is what I call them, because they just kind of look stupid. And then, you know, he comes with his fist, but I think the hands are a little bit underwhelming. The face sculpts I'm not too crazy about, just because 2 of them are practically the exact same, except for the fact that one of them has a vein popping out of his head, the other one doesn't. This one is just him with a diarrhea face, because he didn't take his Metamucil. And this one here is that he is going to give Goku a nice butt whooping without any lube. So overall, I mean, I feel like the face sculpts could have been a little bit better. But, you know, if you're happy with them, that's all that really matters. I'm not upset with them, because usually I always just keep 1 head sculpt on my figure, and then if I feel like I want to switch up what he's doing, I'll just swap the face. But this is probably the one that I'll go with, the kind of the half smile or grimace, whatever you want to call it, just because I really like the scene from the martial arts tournament where he looks up at Goku, turns his head, and smiles. It's really sinister looking. I really wish they could have given us that face sculpt, because honestly, that's how I'm going to display him, is like this, because this is about as close as I'm going to get with it. Anyways, guys, I hope you enjoyed this review. Spread the word of me if you enjoyed my videos. Let other people know about me so they can come watch me as well. If you don't like my videos, well, I'm terribly sorry. Just get over it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, if I hadn't already said that already. And I will talk to you guys later.